I have never done anything like this before. Ever since I started this channel to document my experiences out in nature about a year ago, I knew I eventually wanted hunting to be a part of all this. But I knew literally nothing about it. I wasn't raised in a family that hunted, and honestly, the idea of learning how to hunt was daunting. But despite this, these past few months, I've been spending more and more time learning about hunting, and I was finally starting to think that I knew enough to give at least small game hunting a try without making a complete fool of myself. So I set this trip up and planned everything down to the letter. And then, right before it was time to go, the snow came.
This truly is an historic event. This is the most snow that New Orleans has ever seen in recorded weather history.
Wow. We begin tonight with this dangerous and brutal cold in the Northeast and across much of the country tonight, and now what has become an historic winter storm across multiple states tonight. More than 7 inches of snow and counting, cars and trucks off the road. Near Houston tonight, a FedEx tractor trailer overturning. Both of the city's airports shut down.
We rarely get snow here in Louisiana, and when we do, we get maybe an inch or two, and everyone panics for a day while all of the schools close. But this time, we got enough snow to shut down most of the state for nearly a week. And I won't lie, there was a big part of me that wanted to back out of this trip, wait for the snow to clear, and just go hunting some other time. But then I realized something that convinced me that I absolutely had to go. I realized that if I were to do this, not only would it be my first solo hunt ever, but also my first hunt in the snow as well. On top of this, it would also be my first solo overnighter in the woods, and my first overnighter in the snow. So here I am, a day after Louisiana's most historic snowfall in over 100 years, in the middle of nowhere.
We just made it out here. We're not 100 feet from the road, and I haven't visually seen a squirrel yet, but I've been hearing a couple. So I'm trying to sit here and just be quiet and just see if I can spot any. Squirrels will make a certain noise. They have a handful of noises they make. One noise they make is kind of a bark. So that's what I just heard. I think that's a squirrel right there, just right off the trail. I think I'm already seeing a squirrel over there. It's on the ground. So I'm gonna try to creep up on him. One thing I did not account for is how loud my footsteps are in this snow. You know, you already have to worry about the undergrowth, but this snow, I mean, it's crunching. There's really no way to be quiet out here. Got deer prints through the snow here. Second set I've seen this morning. This is not just a squirrel hunt. We're also on the lookout for rabbits, so these pockets of grass might be a good spot to spook some. What we're gonna do is we're gonna walk real close to the grass so that if there is a rabbit, we spook it. Holy smokes, guys. I had my eyes up high looking for squirrels, and I spooked a really nice sized rabbit. And I decided to take a shot at him. That caught me by complete surprise. He ran that way. I think what I'm gonna do is reload and kind of go that way a little bit more. See if I can't spook him up again. Maybe he's pinned down. I definitely think I missed. Yeah, honestly, if I hadn't been fiddling with the camera trying to film it, I think I would have had a good shot and I would have got him. But we're gonna get on that, guys. Maybe we can still find him. What we need to do is hope that this rabbit is hunkered down in a bush somewhere. That's what they tend to do. And we need to actually make a lot of noise and try to get close and spook him again like we did that first time, because he was in a bush that time and I walked next to it and he shot out. That rabbit's gone. So from what I know, there's two main ways to hunt squirrel. One involves walking quietly through the forest and pausing occasionally and just listening and waiting and hoping you see one and then creeping on up to it. And that's what we've been doing for the first bit of this morning with no luck. So it's almost 9 o'clock in the morning now, and we're going to try that second method, which involves finding a spot where squirrels like to be, which I'm sitting right underneath a nice big oak tree and just sitting and waiting and listening and hoping that if you're quiet enough, they'll come out. And that's what we're going to try. We'll see if we have any luck. All right, so I've been sitting here about 20 minutes and I'm starting to learn some things. Birds, really irritating when you're trying to hunt squirrel. They're incredibly loud and they're everywhere, and the squirrel are not. I am not seeing anything nearby, but over that way, I keep hearing consistently now a squirrel calling. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to make my way towards that noise and hope for the best. Hopefully we find a squirrel. If not, we're going to go set up camp, have some lunch, and then we'll come back out here again in the evening. So I've got my tent entirely set up. I'm not going to throw the rain fly on top because there's not any chance of rain tonight, and I really want to have a nice breeze coming through because I don't want any condensation to form on the walls of the tent due to the cold weather on the outside and me being hot and warm on the inside. I'm also not going to put any of my sleeping gear or anything else in there because I do plan on going off in a little bit to hunt some more, and I don't want to leave anything unattended that I don't have to, so this way my tent will be the only thing I'll be leaving behind. So now that that's set up, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cook up some lunch. We're actually going to have rainbow trout for lunch, which I caught in a previous video. All right, well, I think it's pretty much done. I'm gonna leave the burner on as I eat it just to keep it warm, but let's go ahead and give it a taste and see if it's good. I like to smother it in the butter, get a bite that's full of butter. Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. When you let it sit in the butter, it's incredible. I got a full stomach, my gun's loaded and ready to go. It's time to get back in the woods. Practice our stalking skills. Yeah, this thing's coming right at me. All right, guys, we've been walking around the woods for about 2.5 hours now.
No luck whatsoever, other than that possum. And I don't think I want to eat possum tonight. I'm not that southern, even though I was born here. But I don't think I gave that other technique enough of a chance today, which is just sitting in one spot, posting up, being real quiet, so not talking to you guys as much. I found a really, really good spot. I've got squirrel trees all over the place. So we're gonna post up right here. We got about 2 hours before it's dark. Who knows what we'll see, to be honest, but hopefully we get a squirrel. We got a squirrel over there. It's a black one. Let's see if we can get over there quietly. He's right up here. He was right here. Oh my gosh, there's one right there. It's not the black one, but it is a squirrel. Got him. See if the other one runs out. Yes, 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 yes. How about that, guys? I finally got one by sitting and waiting. That is incredible. So I was sitting at an oak tree, probably about 5 feet to my right there. And I was sitting there for, oh man, probably at least an hour and a half with nothing. Didn't hear anything or nothing. And then I just happened to look to my left. And I don't even know if I got it on camera, but probably 30 yards away from me, there was a black squirrel. And so I got up, tried to be as quiet as I could. Basically, by the time I'd even gotten up, I couldn't see him anymore. So I went and I stalked around that tree for a bit, couldn't see him, and I just happened to glance up in this branch. And this squirrel was just sitting there, quiet as can be. It wasn't moving. I mean, it was a complete miracle that I just happened to see it. This was my first hunt ever, and it was really challenging. You know, I wasn't raised in a family where I had access to people who could teach me this stuff or take me outside and show me the ropes. All this stuff I'm having to learn on my own, and I wonder if any of you guys can relate to that. It's really daunting to get into hunting and the outdoors and even fishing at first. There's just so much information, and I do feel like you have such a unique advantage if you're raised in a family where you have someone, a father perhaps, who's present, who can teach you this stuff. But I will tell you one thing, doing it for yourself, I think there's something different about it. It's just a whole other type of reward when you come out here all on your own, you don't know anything, and you still have success. It's a very, very rewarding experience. And now I'm hearing squirrels calling over here now that I'm gonna leave. Shot. That's the second rabbit I lost today. Once
once again, I was focusing on a squirrel. We are losing daylight fast, so I'm gonna go get some firewood. Hopefully have enough time to clean this squirrel up. All right, guys, well, the fire started far easier than I expected. I thought it would be more of a hassle with how wet it's been, but as you can see, it was not an issue at all. We are gonna cook up that squirrel. I've already got it cleaned. I kind of butchered it, but I managed to salvage it. It's still gonna be good to cook. I'm a little bit worried that I might have pierced its bladder because it really stinks. Or maybe that's just what squirrels smell like when they're raw. Like I said, I didn't grow up with this, so if you know, let me know in the comments down below. But I don't have any special recipe planned for this squirrel. I really just want to be a caveman tonight, so I'm gonna go get a fresh green stick and I'm gonna roast it over the fire, and I'll update you guys when it's done. Yummy, yummy squirrel. Looks delicious, doesn't it? Moment of truth. Here it is. It's very burnt. The scary thing is it smells just like it did raw, just burnt, which is distinctly like piss. So I'm feeling even more confident now that I've punctured its bladder when I was cleaning it, which is really unfortunate. But we're gonna start with the front leg. That's not bad. It's not bad. It tastes just like chicken. Really shitty chicken. Really burnt chicken that smells like piss. But once you get past that, it's not bad. Yeah, get used to it. Well, I'm gonna finish this and then I'm gonna sit back and enjoy the fire. Probably gonna heat up one of my freeze-dried meals as well, because this one squirrel isn't gonna be enough to fill me up. But all in all, pretty good night by the fire. Now I'm gonna have my favorite mountain house meal for dessert. So I'm gonna tear into this, enjoy the fire some more, and then when I'm ready to go to bed, I'll give you all a tour of the inside of the tent. I'm already cozied up in bed. I got a full stomach, but I got a pretty simple setup. I'm rocking my jacket as a pillow, and I've got a 0-degree sleeping bag. Well, it says it's rated for 0 degrees. We'll see about that. And if that isn't enough to keep me warm, I do have a wool blanket, a thick wool blanket underneath here if I need it. I don't think I'm gonna need it tonight though. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today. I'm gonna get some sleep, hit the hay, and I'll see y'all first thing bright and early in the morning. All in all, it was a pretty good night. It got down into the low 20s, mid 20s, which I knew it would. I don't know exactly how cold it got, but I will put it on the screen somewhere when I look it up and I get home. I don't have service out here, but my gear held up pretty well. I was fairly warm until about 2, 3 in the morning. At that point, it got a little bit too cold, and I did have to throw my wool blanket on top of the sleeping bag. But other than that, it was okay. Whenever I would get up to use the bathroom, all the warmth would just leave my sleeping bag, and I'd get back in it and I'd be freezing for a while. But all in all, I'd say my gear held up pretty well, and this has definitely been my best night's sleep in the woods, which is not something I expected. I thought that it would be a little bit more uncomfortable being by myself, but I actually enjoyed being on my own. I mean, it's so peaceful, it's so quiet out here. I just sat by the fire for hours just watching it and listening to nature.
All in all, this was an incredibly successful trip. I was lucky enough to kill something my very first time out, which I don't think is common. I definitely feel like I've already learned quite a lot by being out here on my own, but I do have 2 regrets from yesterday, and that is the 2 rabbits that I didn't get a chance to kill, because I think they would have tasted a lot better than squirrel. I also feel like I had a chance to experience something very unique by getting to come out here after the snowstorm that hit Louisiana. I don't know if I'll ever even get a chance to do that again because it's so rare for it to snow here. And that's honestly kind of a bummer because I think it's really, really fun to hunt in the snow. You don't realize how many animals are out here until you literally see hundreds and hundreds of their tracks just all over the place. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I saw animal tracks everywhere yesterday. But more than anything else, I'm really just grateful that I was able to be out here. I always feel so relaxed and at peace when I'm out in nature. For a very short period in time, I'm able to completely forget about the rest of the world entirely. And I really am so glad that I get to share a little bit of that with you guys. I hope you all enjoyed this one as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all on the next video.